you doing? Hey, Javi and Donald and Mr. Gumby and Bruce and Roberto. Hey, is the sound in the video okay? Everybody, can you hear me okay? Does the sound all right? Oh, good. Thanks. Hey, Eddie, how you doing? David, how are you? Oh boy. Um, it was yesterday. I've been real busy on this project. Yesterday, I talked to Agenor, Nicholas Viderek, and I had done some changes that they liked, so that was good. There was some other issues. I'll tell you about it pretty quickly. Um, just sort of to back up on what we've been doing. Finally got my first haircut since quarantine. Last one was, yeah, same here. This is why I don't look like the wild man from Borneo. Um, anyway, well, let's see. Let's go back. This was sort of the starting point, and this one had the jumping hours and the uh, retrograde minutes. Okay. Hey, Mark. Hi, Marzio. Hi, Mark. There are two Marks, Mark and Mark. Um, so anyway, so this going here, and this was sort of the whole sense of it, and these were the jumping hours. The reason I brought this up, some people say it was 12 hours or 24 hours. It's going to be 12 hours, and what we're trying to do is keep everything as reasonable as possible for us, and also as doable as possible. And then we had these three elements that we have. We have the three options were the ETA movement with Agenor module on top of it for the jumping hours and retroseconds. The third option was the same thing except using a Vauchour movement instead of an ETA. The third, which seems to have been the most popular, was to get a modified Agenor mechanical movement that would integrate most of the stuff we wanted. And this seemed to be sort of a favorite. Okay, so that was where we are. Now, what I had done, I had taken let's see, I had taken, which one did I take? Oh, I can't say the French for it. I had taken the Van Cleef and Arpels and sort of flipped it around and did some stuff with it, and I had a little mention of it. And I was told that that was pretty close to what they had, and so we don't want to be real close at all to the original one, the one that to this one. Okay, and that turned out to be not much of a problem. And so I did this one, and the reason for behind this was that when you look at your watch, that portion of it, right around 11 to 5, is right there. So I thought, well, this might be easy to look at. Also, the fact that a lot of other um, retrograde minutes had been from 9 to 5, which is 9 to 3, which was pretty much, you know, something that everybody else had done. I think it was sometimes I spent a lot of my time when I was at the university on doing what was called information design. And so I was very, very aware of the whole issue of, looking at something, glancing at something. As much as I like this watch, I really do. This is my Daniel Ross um, chronograph. It's very hard to read the time. It really is. This one, easy as pie. So Then I thought, that's something that's going to be important. Anyway, so I tried this one. This was the first one I did. This company right here, VS Dial, is one of the ones I identified as being one that made not porcelain, but enamel dials. And I thought would be good, especially when we have a dial that is different from your typical ones, have someone that we could get a hold of pretty easily. I'm going to meet with them tomorrow and sort of talk to them about what we're trying to do. We're still in the planning stages, and I'll let him know that we have no idea what it's going to cost, how many people are going to be involved, and what different people want. So anyway, sort of we're moving along in those directions. Hey Marzurio, how you doing, man? Is it? I have you, Marzuri, Maurizio. Is that it? I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Um, had sort of clued me in about the difference of the Central European time zones. Some had daylight saving times, other I guess not. Um, so anyway, hi Indrajit, how you doing, Forbin? Paul, hi Paul. Let's see. Okay, um, everybody get and Roberto. Okay, doke. So here's where we are right now, and I think this is a pretty good one. Now this is about half past the hour right here. I have a line going straight across here like that. Uh, on the one hand, what this would do, this combination, would provide sort of a line of sight and also some kind of balance here on this. Um, Hi later, Laterbola. Is that right? I, I I'm sorry about my pronunciation of anybody's name. Okay, my order from the strap lady in Vietnam is being shipped out. They look very good from the photos. Yeah, this is one of the things I think what we're going to need to do to a great extent is to once we get our mitts on the movement, going from there, we can go in more than one direction. Um, the idea behind it, of course, was that we could, get together with the case maker, Wooten, Lannon, and Kalen, and have them do it from that point on. But then I started thinking about the dials, and what we're talking about here, essentially, is one window and one hand. And of all of the things that you have to do when you're, especially if you're a pretentious watchmaker, um, is to put the hands on. Now, the hour hand's not very hard at all. Neither is a minute hand. But boy, the second hand, because the posts are so small, can get really tricky. But having a single hand shouldn't be bad at all. We don't have to worry about it. Sometimes, if you put them on wrong, the minute hand and the hour hand, or even the second hand, sometimes will hit each other, and so you have to have them very neatly stacked. What this would do is minimize that. With a single hand, we could get it thinner, which I think would be sort of cool. Okay. 1930s automobile gate. Well, yeah, this is what I did. I wanted to make it really different. This is Art Deco. I mean, it's what I did is I got an Art Deco font and used it. Another one I did. This was one. This is the one from the 1920 Fritz Lang film Metropolis, and I don't know why it was sort of a cool movie, and they had these clocks with this font, and so I was able to get the font and also the for both the numbers and the text, which is a little different. But I mean, it shows what we can do. Now, this one, what I did was I went back and I thought, well, let's see what we can do. Something a little more formal on here. And I used the Palatino font. and use the Breguet hand. And see what it's like. And then I put a little color in the middle here. And then here again is the jumping hour. Another thing was this one is similar. It's a very, very pale yellow in the center. And then I think, I don't know if it was somebody in this group or not, but they said, why don't you use a Louis the 13th hand, I think. Here's a French, I think was he the last French king? I don't know, Louis. So I looked around for something that had sort of a, more of a fancy one. And I used that with an Apple Chancellery font, which is a little more fancy. But the thing is that we can do all kinds of different things if we want. As a lot of them, or some of them anyway, have sort of this thing like the Chanel we had looked at. This is much more complex than it looks, because first of all, this is not centered on the dial or the movement, but it's sort of offset with the big retrograde second minutes up here. Then they have a second hand, and then they have a window down there at the bottom. The other thing too is that we can look at different kinds of numbers and fonts and so forth that are used, even though they have, this has nothing to do with the way that they're going to be arranged. These might work, they might be too big, I don't know. This is from RGM's Corps of Engineers. And this is another one. This is from Sven Anderson, I think. Again, this, I'm not even sure how it works, but it's an interesting looking watch, and it's got a little calendar at the bottom. Okay, so now what we can do and talk about, I think, is like, what do you guys want to do? Hi, Underachieving. How you doing, man? Okay, let's see. Yeah, one of the funny things, the Forbin was you mentioned a 1930s automobile gauge. The Rolex Air King has an automobile gauge from this thing called Bloodhound. That's a world speed record car. And I think a lot of interesting things can be done with those kinds of gauges. I think a lot of, I was looking in the garage, I have this great big poster, and it's the old instrument panel from our airplane. My partner had made took a picture of it and then made a big poster from it. And every time I go in the garage, I get all misty about flying. But the thing is that those dials had their own kind of, I guess, way of looking at things. Who is it? I think it's Bell and Ross, if I'm not mistaken. Bell and Ross have a lot of airplane instrument panels for their dial. But the point of even talking about this is that, maybe this is something, given the kind of 60-second, let me see, it would be using 50% of an hour dial in the timing of it, so it would come out to be 60 minutes, but in half the amount of time or amount of space, and then having the jumping hours separately. But there's no reason that we can't have just about anything we want to on that. Well, and like I said, this is what I want to talk to the guy tomorrow, the dial maker. He's if you haven't taken a look at it, take a look at some of his stuff. I'm going to see it. I'm going to see it live, and we're going to a place where there's lots of space, and we can sit down and talk for a while. Okay, what's going on? Hey, Kaz, how you doing, man? Oh, Okay, so let's hear some ideas from you guys. If I think that having some kind of general idea that because we've got to uh, talk to Aganor about this, is that the uh, the 11 to 5 is would be uniquely ours. That arc. The other ones, the 9 to 3 is that's been done a lot, and some other ones that wrap around most of it. Uh, this type of or sort of this hunk of placement of the minute hand for the minute indicators was pretty much what they did with the Van Cleef and with Van Cleef and Arpels. Okay, so but they had it here, and if you look at your watch, I thought it wasn't easy to read. It was, but on the other hand, up here, when you just put your watch up like this and look at it, it's boom right there, and I like that. Um, and then somebody asked if this could be bigger, and the answer is sure. We can make it. We can make it bigger. I guess it's going to be they're going to have a disc in there going around, and so the position of this, I think, at a straight angle from the halfway mark, which is 30 seconds, will give it a type of symmetry. But the thing is that with that, we're going to, um, yeah, yeah, Mark, it is. Mark, yes, you're right. Um, can we give me any goat stamps on it? No, this was something else that we talked about. Um, the having something on it, what would we put on there? What are some ideas about that? Some that someone to put some kind of label or something like that. Now, as far as I'm concerned, we don't have to put anything on it, but a lot of people from the morning group wanted to put something. They had some different ideas, and one I liked was they had Montreux's number one. Okay, Montreux's, I probably mispronounced it, is French for watch. It'd be watch number one, which I think is, it's something that we all know what it would mean. On the same time, though, it wouldn't be, I know Bruce and the goats are important, but still, I don't know if you'd want a goat on there or not. But something simple like that, I sort of liked. I don't know. Um, let's see. We could invite Agenor into development group and call it the Agenor One in French. I think, yeah, that's another point, Donald, and I think it's a very good one. Um, if you look at a lot of watches and with a dial by somebody else, they'll on the rotor they'll put the name of their company and all of this other kind of stuff. And to me, that's the last thing I'd want to do. If we could have the on the movement somewhere on one of the movement plates that was Agenor, that I think would be great. I think I'd much rather have that than like some sounding like a bunch of smucks putting our name on something that we did nothing to. And I think the same would be true for the case. If it had Wooten, Lannon, and Kalen on it, that would be. In other words, it would be what I've been whining about for a number of years now, and that is that full transparency. Okay. Hmm. that would tip it in another way, Mark. Um, that would, yeah, the driving watch is. You're right, though. The first driving watch, by the way, too, the first one that Vacheron Constantin did had the 11 to 5, and they had the thing up there. And I hope we don't have to talk about that endlessly. I really do. I think we'll go with the 11 to 5 and then have the offset. Okay. Um, I don't know what It's just, God, I tell you, there's enough things to overcome that we got to make certain decisions. Okay, Roland, you like the 11 to 5 too. Is it possible to name Agenhorn a dial? This is something. If we had it on the movement in the back, that would be fine. If we had it on the dial, it wouldn't be exactly what we wanted. I don't think. I mean, I can see your point, and it would be sort of cool, but I don't know. I just there was some guys who wanted to use different dial makers and so forth, and that's fine. It really is. And if we did that, I think I think it's something that would be um, I don't know, putting a dial maker on it too is that can also be a little, I think, giving way too much credit for just the dial. Um, let's take a look. Yeah, something like this. Okay. Okay. Third, no, hey, nobody three. I really don't know enough about retrograde complication to think about what kind of dial would be thematic. Is it purely a romantic complication? No. Um, I don't think it certainly can be one, but it's not like the suspendu or one of those that Mark. If you want to try it, do it. Okay, just sort of go ahead and do it, Mark. And then I'm really busy. All right, thank you. Um, the Okay, well that's pretty much where we are on that. So, what other ideas? Anybody? Come on, it's no, no. Go ahead and do it, Mark. Is it the idea that I'm the only person that has to work on this thing isn't the case. A lot of these things I've talked with other people, okay, and I'm trying to get everything, uh, together. And if we keep coming up with what ifs, we'll never get anywhere. All right. Um, and it's very difficult with a group as it is. I mean, you heard of designs by committee, and what I want to do is that I want to get input, but there's a certain point where we say, okay, we've taken care of that and we move on, and that's difficult to do, but I want to do it. Okay. All right. So is that other kinds of projects would be a lot easier. This is not an easy project because I've done I don't know how many of these watches, and a lot of other you guys have too. When you build these, um, you got a round thing, and maybe you have a small second at 6 or 9 o'clock, or you have a center second. These are all options that are very typical, and you can go out and you can buy a dial with all of this stuff already done. And but that's for us, it's going to be a little tougher. One thing I already sort of Agenor took a look at one of the earlier ones and said, no, that's too much uh, like the one they already had. They don't want to get Van Cleef and Arpels mad at them, and I don't blame them. And so this is the stuff that we've done is, among other things, is not Van Cleef and Arpels. Are you using Kickstarter to fund this? No. This isn't, this is something that um, what we thought we would do is to put everything together one thing at a time. Okay. Once we get the movement and whatever it's going to be, and we may not be able to do it for the simple reason that there may not be enough people who want to invest whatever it's going to cost us. So this is, but if that's why we're trying to build it one step at a time. It's a lot easier, let's say, to just get the movement, okay. And I don't want anybody's money involved in it, except for the watch that they're or the movement they're going to get, and the other parts of it as we build this up. Boy, I tell you, somebody was asking about this morning. Letterbola. So you're not the first one, and it's an important question. But boy, Kickstarter would be like somebody who is, oh, that would be somebody trying to start a business and make some money in watches. Man, I tell you, that's just the last thing that I'd want to be involved in. And I don't know. We'll have to work. Once we get this thing, what we'll have to do is first of all we'll have to get the movement, find out about which movement we want to go with. Second of all, what it's really going to cost, because we do have estimates. And Nicholas told me, he said, well, the more people that have it, the less it's going to cost. Each unit cost will go down. And, but I don't know what a sort of a crucial, what would be a crucial number. See, the thing with Vaucher is that Vaucher sells them in lots of 25. And so you're even at the very bottom, you're dealing with roughly $30,000. So, that's not something I think any one of us would just pick up and say, hey, here you go. And I wouldn't want other people's money in there because that means they'd have to get a watch. And we're not a watchmaking company. We're just a bunch of guys who are trying to put together a watch. Okay. Hey, Mohammed from Turkey. How are things in Turkey these days? Donald, what watch are we going to make with a dial maker? Okay, let's hear some ideas. Can we use? No. Hey, Mark, have the logo that we have for the pretentious watchmakers, something like that. What I was hoping is this not to be mine. I want it to be everybody's, and that was why I like the idea. Simply Montreux's number one, and we could do it in French. That's a little more pretentious, which I like, or half in German. Uh, yeah, you did, Indrajit. Yeah, you were the guy who suggested the Montreuxs, and then Montreux's les temps, meaning the watch is a time in a period of time. Well, that's a cool name. Um, Late today, truth is, early for tomorrow. Oh, okay. Let's see. Um, hey, Doc, how you doing? So, any other ideas that you have? Oh, let me ask you this. What questions should I ask? Hi, Ronan. What questions? Oh, Montreux Premier. Ooh, I like that. Hey, did everyone see Ronan's idea? Montreux Premier. That means the first watch, right? What a great! And I like that one. Wouldn't that be a neat name? We could put that on there somehow. Um, Let's go back. And I guess one of the things that I'll take a bunch of these ideas that you guys have and say, what could you do that? Yeah. Yeah, Mark. Okay. We'll make the windows a little larger. We got to be careful about that, though, because remember, there's going to be a disc underneath it. And, but I do think we should make it a little larger. I agree with that. See, this is what we've got, and it's hard to tell because this is a pretty good size watch here. That the size that they can put on the disc is going to limit the size of the hour in the window. Okay, so I do like that idea though, to make it a little larger. This was actually this is a smaller one, and making it a little larger shouldn't be a problem. The other problem too is that this may not. I mean, I think we can get it shooting, straight line down from the 30, but this position we may have to move it here or there or something like that because of the size of the disc where they have to put the hour numbers on. I need to decide what watches to bring to campus. Oh, you're leaving Wednesday. It hasn't hit me yet. Man, oh, man. Oh, Eddie, I tell you, I, my wife and I were talking, is that we both feel really bad for anybody starting university this year, and it's going to be rough for probably maybe a year. I'm hoping that they'll have a vaccine by sometime in the early winter. Uh, Unless you want to try Putin's potent potion. I think that also. Let's see, Maurizio. I think that also the changing wheel position is a variable that can be managed with the given movement parts. Uh, Maurizio, possibly so, but we gotta be careful here. Okay. Is it possible to have the minute hand emanating from the hour window? I hope not. To tell you the truth. Um, Someone in the early group asked about polish. Is that included in the base? Oh boy, Donald, that's a great question. See, what they would be doing, you're talking about the finishing, right? I just don't know. That would be something that what they would do is hire some other company that does that, and you're talking about the englaze, right? The beveling and the and that part of it, and that certainly would make the movement look a lot better. But I don't know what that would cost because it's apparently what they have to do is that they have to take the individual parts and do it. Maybe Eddie can do it for us because I've seen some stuff that Eddie's done. He really does a good job of that. Um, well, we don't have. I tell you what. In the next project, Nobody 13 or 3, we can try it then. Right now, jumping hour and jumping minutes. We're not having jumping minutes. Okay, that would be a whole other project. So, Mark, Montre Premier has a nice ring to it. I like it. Yeah, I think that's a great one. Somebody remembered. I better write it down, otherwise I'll forget. Okay, let's see. All right, now you guys haven't told me what you want to. Yeah, it is an interesting idea, but we're sort of moving along. Montre Premier. I'll tell you what's funny about that. My Harry Winston bio retrograde, and the bio retrograde is done by Agenhor, is called the Harry Winston Premier by retrograde. So that was Montre Premier. Sound neat. I'll have to learn how to say it correctly. Yeah. Well, we'll have something. Once they isolate you after you have 2 minutes. Oh, I tell you, Eddie, this experience will make you smarter, make you tougher. And just imagine what you can do for, time you're a junior. Maybe you could tell a freshman, oh man, you should have been here during the pandemic. that's that's the part I look forward to. We can all complain to people who missed it. Gee, you missed it. I think it's gonna be a while before anybody misses it because it's affected so many people. Um, oh, anyway. Um, okay, no. Well, listen, guys. I want to thank you all. And if you get any ideas, that's something else too. We talked about. We gotta reach a certain point here. We're gonna say, okay, I definitely want to go ahead. Um, and then we'll set up a page, a separate Facebook page. This is what we did when we sent around the watch to everybody. Um, oh my God, Mark! Yeah, I meant to ask you, how are you guys? Um, Mark lives in up near in Northern California, and the fires out there have been terrible. My brother, who also lives in that general area, is they got their car packed, and as soon as they hear time to go, they just pack up and God, it's awful. That's rough. Good luck, Mark, and stay safe. Okay. Okay. Thank you, guys, and I wish there was an option for Loom. I can ask about that, okay? Because see, Loom is all a dial thing. All right, so that's something I can ask about. Anyway. Okay. Uh, Jesus, good grief, it is bad. Okay. All right, Mark, get your stuff ready to go. Take care. Indrajit, thank you you stayed up a long time. Now get some sleep. Take care, guys.